There we go. Our alerts are all off and we are excited. It is Thursday with TwoSistas. That means Trending Thursday. But everyone, good evening. My name is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss with a little sun in my eyeballs. I gotta move back a little bit with two.
Sistas. Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0 on this kind of chilly Thursday evening, Trending Thursday, of course. So many things trending. I don't even know where to begin.
Well, what did you say? I mean, I knew New Hampshire was 48. Liz Lyman, shout out to her, sent me the temperature and I went burr. Our high today, I believe, was 97 or 98.
We're at 57 right now, but yesterday and the day before we had, weather in the 70s.
Nice.
It really was. It was beautiful. It was so nice to be outside, taking the dogs for a walk, checking out the garden on the other side, what's happening with that. And just to be outside today was like bone chilling. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, oh boy. And I just, of course, switched from the winter bedding to the summertime bedding. So yeah, it's been a little chilly, but trending,
There's a lot of stuff trending.
we could really go down a rabbit hole. That's all.
We could, and nighttime is a great time to go down the rabbit hole, I think, as I say. I did watch the 2000 Mules, and I'll send you where you can watch it. And, I saw the first hour of it when I was at your house last week, and then I didn't finish the rest of it. And then I actually started from the beginning today. It was this afternoon. It looked like it was going to get like a thunderstorm, which we did get some much needed rain for about 15 minutes. But, so I decided, just kind of, I was going to sit out at the pool, and then the clouds started rolling. And I said, what, I kind of cleared my desk, although looking at it right now, you wouldn't know that. But I decided, what, I'm going to just sit and watch this movie. And, interesting enough, I've heard a lot of people chitter chatter. A lot of people don't know about the movie. I actually talked to two of my friends today that never even heard of the movie. So I passed on the information to them as well. And what I will say to anybody, because they talk about parties as a whole, parties in general, every American should watch it, because it really does give you insight of not just 2020, gives you insight as a whole with elections, what has gone on in the past. And what I will say is do your own diligence. But the other key piece to that is I had someone saying, oh, that stuff is so fake. And I said, well, gee, you watch movies all the time, don't you? Because I know a lot of people, friends of mine are movie buffs, and they'll say, yeah. I'll say, do you like documentaries? Oh, yeah, I love documentaries. So then why wouldn't you want, even if you're not sure or you already have a preconceived notion about what you're going to see, I will tell you, it will blow your socks off. It will blow your pants off. It will blow, it's, what do they say? It was 4 million seconds or 4 million minutes. I can't even remember. I'd have to look it up because I actually did quote it, or I wrote a note to myself of, footage. And what they did is they used technology that law enforcement uses, and they actually proved that technology with solving a murder of a young little girl who, one of those neighborhoods where there's a lot of gunfire going on and a poor innocent little girl got murdered. And this particular program, we're pings off of the cell phone towers and whatnot. And there's technology that a lot of, like I said, law enforcement use. That's the program that they use, or that's kind of the same type of program that they use. And they actually even presented their program to this particular city of where this murder took place. And that's actually how they were able to arrest the two gentlemen, ones you want to call them gentlemen, two thugs that murdered this poor little girl. But it's the same technology. And when you watch it, and I'm actually going to watch it again because, it's one of those movies where, and I know we can all relate to this, you watch a movie and then you watch it again and you're like, oh my God, why did I pick that up the first time? Or why did I pick that up the second time? And even some movies that I watched 3, 4, 5, or 6 times, not in a row, but maybe, some time has been in between. And I'll say, I don't remember seeing that. So your mind, absorbs, but you get so engrossed in the technology of what they're doing and the actual schematics of how so in other words, they didn't, when they were gathering the information of the ballot harvesting and the boxes per se, they had really strict criteria that they will tell you in the documentary. Like, so in other words, they didn't say, oh, we were only pinging people that put in like 2. Because let's face it, for mail-in ballots, you could have had somebody that had, 3 members in their family and they put them on the box. So they understood that. So they had a certain criteria. And the criteria, and I don't want to go into too much detail because I know a lot of people have not seen it, and I encourage you, everyone, regardless of what your political affiliation is, because it's both sides. I mean, over the years, you can't call one party out without calling the other party out. Let's put it that way. However, when you see this technology and like I said, the criteria, they had a very stringent criteria for them to go after the numbers that they did. And it would be a minimum, so I'm going to give out some random numbers, a minimum of a person going to 5 different boxes. Then it was, because they made the connection of where they actually picked up, because they didn't just randomly get these ballots, right? They had to go somewhere. And a lot of the stuff was embedded in nonprofits. So they would see their pings of their movement, almost like, say, I'm going to say GPS, because it's kind of like that. And they would track them through all the signals that they had. And it was phenomenal how they actually could come up with a kind of a method to their madness. So we're not looking at somebody that's, maybe gone to the, box once or twice. We're pinging off of people that have gone several times in a short amount of time, which was really over a 2-week span, and also coordinated the time they went to the time that they actually went to the nonprofit to pick up the ballots, to the crazy times. Like they had one person, and I want to say actually Philadelphia was the worst with the mules. They had over 1,000 mules that participated in this. So when people hear about a human mule, these are people that they're not like your mom and pop, person walking the dog doing this. They also correlated the pings and the IP addresses, if you will, to a lot of people that were involved with all the ruckus that was going on in the summertime, if you remember that, all the anarchy, riots and all of that. So these were people that were not really nice people, but it all had to do with money. The ultimate goal was money. Not only that, part of the scheme of it all was the person that was the mule also had to take a pic. Like, who takes a selfie? I mean, I take lots of selfies. Who takes a selfie at a voter box? But what they had to do, in order to get paid, they actually had to take a picture of the box. And when you're seeing actual footage and not just a few clips. So it's mind-boggling. So that's what's trending. The other crazy thing that's been trending today that I've been hearing a lot about is and I don't know exactly where this is taking place, whether it's in local Congress for some state. I don't know all the back end of the story. I've just been getting bits and pieces where these specialists are on the stand and they are specifically talking about the biology of a man versus a woman and blah, blah, blah. And one of the questions asked, I've got to find the backstory to it. One of the questions was asked, do you think if a man can get pregnant, can he get an abortion? And this person who's got high credentials, absolutely. So think about that for a second. This person is being asked, because they're an expert in biology or whatever it may be that they're the expert in, that if a male, you believe a male can get pregnant, so could a male have an abortion? And the answer is yes. I was like,
and that's an expert. And that just goes to show you I gotta watch my tongue. That
Yeah,
just goes to show you the stupidity. And I'm being nice and I am containing myself, but the sheer stupidity.
Yeah, it just, it amazes me to no end that they're really trying to sell this, and I actually did a joke today. I said something about, there weren't any baby formula shortages. It only started when males became pregnant. So I had someone say, "Are you serious?" I said, "No, of course I'm not serious. I'm making a joke. We're in a crazy time right now. We're in circus land. If anyone hasn't noticed, we are in circus land. And when you're in circus land, when it's not just, juggling of the balls and, the clown and the elephant, when you're dealing with like cray circus land, you need a sense of humor to kind of break that stress, break that like craziness. Don't you think?
Yes, there's so much more I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, then the other big thing, obviously, okay, yeah, so it's 40 million minutes or something like that. And what they do is once they get their numbers in this movie on the 2000 Mules, they actually correlate their numbers with how things turned out. And there's no doubt in my mind who should be at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The other huge thing that's been trending today, of course, is Twitter. And, a lot of people have their theories on why he's doing what he's doing. I guess he's recently come out and said that he's voting Republican. So that's driving people a little crazy, cray. So anywho, the Twitter wars continue because, of course, he wants Twitter to prove that they have less than 5% of accounts are not bots, because bots are not real people. Yeah, good luck with that. That's never going to happen because we know that's way more than 5%. So what Elon Musk is basically saying, if they won't do that, there's actually, for him to back out, apparently there's like a $1 billion like severance fee. Of course, it's Elon Musk, he can afford it.
Chump change.
Even with all the billions he's lost in stocks and all that, he can afford it. So anyways, he would have a $1 billion severance fee. And then his analogy, which is a very smart man, if the Twitter tanks, like, all of its stocks and just everything tanks, he probably will come back and make a deal significantly less than the original 44 billion. And then if Twitter can prove, then Elon buys the platform, opens up for free speech, and amongst conservatives, everyone else, it's just he's positioned himself pretty good in this situation. And I think what's driving the progressive left, because to me there's no more moderates. I don't even know if you can even say that there's any more moderates. It's really a progressive liberal or progressive left. They're like just whatever. But I think because the way Elon Musk is doing this, it's really, when you think about it, it's a big slap in the face to all big tech. And in addition to that, with this other movie, this 2000 Mule movie, you will see the big money that's, we always say follow the money, the big amount, like huge amounts of money what do you think the big amounts of money went to from tech regarding the 2020 election? And another key piece before we get to that answer, before Jan answers that, people say, oh, you just got to get over it. Like 2020. No, you don't have to get over it. When something this bad happened to our country, you don't get over it. You wait. There's too many people that know there's more truth to the story, and we haven't heard it all. And you don't stop just because, one side says, oh, sore loser. It has nothing to do with being a sore loser. It's about democracy. It's about making sure this bullshit doesn't happen again.
And when they get over the fact that a man can have a baby, therefore he must be able to have an abortion, then let's have that chat. Yeah.
So
it's flipping ridiculous.
Yeah, so anyways, but you would be surprised within that movie, the big tech, who, so I'll go back to that question, where do you think that big tech money went to regarding the election? I mean, there's the obvious things, but
Where did it go to? It probably went to harvest more ballots. I don't know.
that's part of it, but the boxes,
Oh yeah, that's right. The boxes. I heard about that yesterday. Yeah.
the boxes.
Yeah.
Why would, let's say, I gotta think of another name. I'm looking at a sunset, pretty sunset right now. Let's see, what can I call him? I don't want to call him Zinkerbell. Why do you think Zinkerbell,
Schnitzelbaum.
vested so much money in ballot boxes? Why, why? And the other one was the Pearly Gate guy.
Oh, that has his hand, that guy that has his hand in the baby formula thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, and the same guy that's buying up all the farms. That guy.
That's that guy.
That's that guy. So, a lot of people say, oh, just get over it. It's over. It's old news. No, something this big never gets old. And until we really know, I mean, I always knew, but when you see this movie, it solidifies your guts. And that much I will say. And for those that don't believe it, I highly suggest, and my question to those, what are you so afraid of by watching it? What are you so afraid of? You want to dismiss it. It's a documentary. Heck, you watch, any kind of movie. So think of it that you're just watching another movie. But if you really are putting that much of a stink not to watch it and to really profess how fake it is, you got to wonder, because even if you think something's not real, I always say the curiosity gets the cat, and you want to watch it. And for those that are putting up such a, brave front, they're not going to watch it. My question would be, what are you so afraid of by watching it? Are you afraid that you're going to learn something? Are you afraid that maybe there might be some truth in something? Are you afraid that everything that you believed, that you hold so damn tight to, that there's no way, it couldn't have been, that may diminish a little bit? What are you so afraid with? So that would be my question on Trending Thursday. What are you afraid of?
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that they are afraid of the upcoming midterm elections. That is for sure. That's been all over the news and even on the crappy news networks. So,
yeah, I think they're getting a little nervous.
Of course, they're a little
especially
nervous.
with some of the local elections that are going on. You've got some GOP elections going on. You've got, what is it, Oz, and I can't think of the other gentleman's name.
Yeah, I think that Dr. Oz is ahead now by, it's a fraction of about 1,000 votes.
Ooh, so
it's tight. So that will definitely go into a recall process, as I understand their, from what they were explaining about their election laws, that within a certain percentage, it has to go to a recount. So yeah, there is a lot of shit going on, some of it good, a lot of it bad. And again, I go back to the old rule, or my old comment that I probably said numerous times. One of the reasons why we can't have a logical or a very really good conversation with the far left is nobody can agree on the truth. There's the truth.
Oh, speaking of that, what else is trending? Because you said the word truth. So, I was talking to somebody and we're saying, like, what our generation, or what are one of those big moments. And again, I did some humor things that some people might not have been too happy, but oh hell. So one of them was, one of the big things that I, remember in our time frame would be, what the heck was her name? That singer, Delta Dawn. Hear me roar. I am woman. Hear me roar. So I'm like, well, okay, I am woman, hear me roar. That was really from our time. Don't you agree? I would think so.
Yeah.
And today, our generation, so today's generation, I don't know what I am, hear me whine.
Oh,
I
Lordy.
mean, I've just been finding stuff all over the place and I'm just dying. But going back to the truth, what you were saying there, everyone got their version, but the truth is the truth. How about those that are all about my truth? My truth. And I thought about it, and I really had to really think about that because that was that term, my truth. It's been really going on for the last 3 years. And I thought, my story, my journey, my belief is one thing. My truth, the truth is the truth. You can own the truth, but it's not your truth because your truth may not really be a truth.
And if you think the truth is the truth, and you probably still believe in the tooth fairy. And that's why there can be no logical, really good conversations, because the truth is the truth. Hey, the right or conservatives are going to call their shit out, even though it may be one of their own. That's what people who know what the truth is, that's what they do. But you have so far over here, you have the truth, and then you have over here.
Right.
And when you don't agree with over here, it's you're a racist, you're a white supremacist, you're this, like, let's stop the name calling. Like, give me something more than that. Like, what are you basing your opinion on?
And that's what you have it is, your opinion. My opinion, I can agree with. My truth, I cannot. Because the truth is the truth. It's not, no one owns the truth. The truth is just what it is. So all these people, I'm recognizing my truth. Well, your truth may not even be a truth. It might be an opinion. It might be your thought. It might be your belief. But if it's not true, doesn't make it my truth.
Well, I think the thing with that is look at the two words, subjective and objective. Right. Unfortunately, those are used in the wrong context. So if I say my wrist is hurting, that's subjective. But let's say a doctor who looks at it and is basing his opinion on what I've said because my wrist is hurting, it's his objective. But people
they're not connecting the dots correctly. Oh, another thing? How do you spell woman? Did you hear the new way?
Oh, no, I didn't hear this. What?
WOMXN. There's no, because you have one man, you don't want the man now. So it's, I don't even know how you even pronounce it, Wimnex. But yeah, a lot of Michelle Obama tweeted it. Quite a few people have been using. I think someone on the crazy ladies. The View been using it. There's been quite a few other ones. And then to top off this week of, all the different stuff that's trending, you've got the new press secretary. I don't know what to say about her.
We went from worse to a downgrade of worse that I don't even have a word to describe it.
Yeah, she doesn't. It's so funny because when we were used to very articulate, very well spoken, that could articulate, that you could ask a question, they would actually answer the question give you an answer of the actual question. We had Little Red Riding Hood who just fumbled through her notebook, but to her credit, I will give you towards the last few months, she got a little bit better at flipping her notebook and still making eye contact. That did not come naturally to her. This ding dong, is, for our viewers that can't see me, I'm looking down and I'm targeting. She is not very well. And the one thing I did not like how they introduced her, but I guess this is part of what they do, is I would like to see somebody, based on their credentials, that they earn that position. And they introduce her as a Black, lesbian, LGBTQP, IONG, LMNOP, whatever, plus. It didn't, described her person or, who she identifies with, whatever, but not her credentials. And I thought that was kind of
I
lame.
thought that was very odd as well. Now, we are not saying, okay, so
Oh,
people
no,
who are like, I don't care what this person.
my friends are gay. My best friends are gay.
Yeah, I mean, that,
We were very blessed, and we've talked about this. We were very blessed with our parents because our parents always had gay friends since I was a little girl. We always had nuns over, priests over, Black, white, Spanish, Mexican. We were very, we were blessed that our parents, we didn't think anything different. So, when I talk about the gay community, I have, my best friends are gay and they agree with everything that I'm talking about because there are a lot of people in the gay community that are not thrilled with how this is being thrusted in. And a lot of people in the gay community don't even understand we're not even gonna get to that topic, but transgender, they don't grasp it. They don't understand it. And it's a question of, if you're an adult and you're gonna, let your freak fly, go for it. But when it impacts children and you're trying to push it on children, 4-year-olds, they just don't know their sexuality and they shouldn't know how many holes are in their vagina. I mean, this is just some of the stuff that's going on. And there is a craze, and it's I highly recommend, because sometimes we'll talk about books and what's trending. In this book, I'm glad to see that it is trending again. And it is called Irreversible Damage. And, what it is saying, I'm going to read just one little excerpt because this stuff has all been trending. There's been so much today that's been trending that it was really, really hard to keep up. But the name of the book is Irreversible Damage, and it's by Abigail Schreier, and it's the transgender craze seducing our daughters. And there were John Podhoretz, who was the editor of the commentary, a deeply compassionate and utterly sobering account of an unprecedented and reckless social experiment whose test subjects are the bodies and psyches of the most emotionally vulnerable among us. That was one particular, review. This one comes from the Post-Millennial. Schreier's book is an enormously positive contribution to this fierce battle for children's right to bodily and mental health protection from harmful influencers. So what this book does, and it goes to, like, even in the foreword, it basically says that they changed the names because these are all like real families that have been dealing with this now. They had to basically save their daughters from this craze. And a lot of people think, oh, it's not a craze, they're identifying with, oh no, it is no doubt it is a craze. I mean, every generation has them, but this is extremely harmful because what they call about the irreversible damage is they're now seeing some teenagers later, regretting that they took these hormones to suppress, their growth of their different body parts and whatnot. Some have gone to some real extreme measures where they cannot have children anymore or will never be able to have children. And then you have the influencers. I loved shopping at Target, absolutely loved it. I will not shop there anymore. There is a whole section of garments for transgenders to suppress, in other words, like to flatten out their breasts or to flatten out their, penis. And it's to, they're like garments to, like, flatten them out so they can get away with not, until they decide to actually, if they ever make that decision to do away with those body parts, which to me is just I'm trying to think of the right word. It's just you're dismembering your body that God gave you. And again, it is not to say that, when you reach that age of maturity, and there's many studies out there that women do not fully mature till they're 32, and men it's, late in their 40s. Some of us can argue that it goes on even further. But the bottom line is from understanding your own body, you don't really start to understand your body until you're in 20s. You don't. So, 4 years old, yeah, you're not really knowing what you sexually want at 4 years old, nor at 7, nor at 10, nor at 13. Again, I would say it's in your 20s where you've experienced, like a lot of these girls haven't even hit puberty yet. They haven't had their period yet. So how would they mentally know that they want to be a boy? And, we could go round and round, and I could get, experts that would say, they disagree with me. This is my opinion, 100% wholeheartedly. But we are in Looney Tune times.
I think we need that guy from the NBC show, and I think they still do it, To Catch a Predator. That's what all this BS kind of
grooming, and a lot of people don't understand that grooming is not just with sexual. Grooming could be from a political mindset. There's a whole different way that you're grooming children to be like mini activists, as well as, this whole transgender movement. And it's very dangerous. And again, I am not going to necessarily call out an adult, because at that point they are, mentally made that decision for themselves. I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem when you're trying to infiltrate a child's mind, and to give an example, little girls are playing, and one says, "Oh, I love your dress, it's so pretty," or "I like yours." In summer interviews, "Oh, they got gay tendencies." Just let kids be kids. They're only a child once. Let them enjoy their childhood with giggles, mud, friendships, laughter, silliness, goofiness, all these other things that are for them, that is meant to be, it will come about when the time comes. But to interject and really kind of exclude the parent from a lot of these conversations, which is happening in a lot of schools, that nonsense has got to stop. And the only way that stops, the only way that we educate ourselves on what's going on in our world and elections and all that, is to get involved, to be in the know, and don't take my word for it, do your own research. I bought the book, and I was this particular book, and it's jaw dropping. I saw that movie today because I wanted to see for myself. I don't want somebody to say, my gut told me something wasn't right, but I wanted to see evidence. I wanted to see evidence. And, what they do with that evidence, this, time and day and year, I'm not really sure. But for those of us that thought something was wrong, there's actually now beyond a reasonable doubt that something was very wrong. And if what it does is create a more openness and knowledge, because some of the clips that they show in that particular movie, people are just standing there watching them do it, and they were brazen. They did it in broad daylight, and you just see them coming out, ballot after ballot after ballot after ballot. And then the ones that were really, had made several hits. Who stuffs ballots at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., 1 a.m.? And this is the time frame. I mean, they have all the pings, they got all the technology to prove what they're saying. So if anything, it should open people's minds to say, you know what, that's not democracy. We were hijacked. It was, when you talk about a mule is going to a place to get something illegal, which they're illegal ballots, but it wasn't just that piece to it. It talks about the elderly, how the elderly were abused in this. those that are in, their brains, they're not, they can't even, function. They're in a home. They talked about one particular family and their mother, I'm not sure how old she is. She's been in a nursing home for over 10 years, apparently. And they found out she's been voting for the last 10 years. And she doesn't really wake up, like she wakes up for a few minutes out of the day. I mean, she's just not there. How can that be? So if anything, it should awaken people to say, even if at the end of the day you say, I still think he won, but if at least sheds some light to say, wait a minute, this stuff really is happening. And no matter whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, independent, a libertarian, it doesn't matter. We've got to keep our democracy intact. We got to keep our country intact, and we've got to make sure that we've got fair elections. And this is going to really open up people's minds. So I highly, highly recommend everyone to watch that. And I also highly recommend everyone read the book, Irreversible Damage, The Transgender Craze Seducing Our Daughters by Abigail Shrier. And that's Shrier, Shrier. And you can get it, I believe, well, you used to be able to get it on Amazon. I don't know that you can anymore, but it's, it's out there, libraries and books and things like, bookstores.
And on that note, Trending Thursday, we have an amazing guest this upcoming Saturday, and we are very excited to have him back on, Dr. Cave.
Yes, what time are we doing that?
We are doing that, I believe, 1 p.m. our time.
That's what I thought. I wanted to double check that because I know the two of us were getting screwed up with time zones and stuff like that. So I'm excited because, of course, I have my surgeon. I'm meeting with a sports orthopedics surgeon on Wednesday for my whole left side. So I've got issues with my poor left shoulder, my left side of my hip, and my left knee. I did play pickleball yesterday. It was a struggle, but I played. I'm hoping that I don't need surgery, but I really honestly don't know. So I'm going to make sure that I take some of Dr. Cave's helpful hints and say, I want to interview. If I have to go down there, I want to interview my anesthesiologist.
There you go. And on that note, Trending Thursday with Two Sisters. My name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva. Have yourself a wonderful evening. And I'm with Two
Sistas, and this is Carol. So, aka, what is today? Today is the 19th?
20th, I believe.
No,
I'm sorry, 19th.
Today's the 19th. That means she has 5 more. She's on her last 5 days. We're getting there. She's going to be turning the big 6-0. John and I have a big day coming up on Sunday as well.
Right.
Months, this whole year, there's a lot of big milestones going on. But anyways, this is Carol, so aka Naughty Boss Live with Two Sisters, and we are super excited with Trending Thursday. There was a lot to talk about because, so much going on at Heartbeat, but we will be on this Saturday, so we're excited about that at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you really want insight into some of the positive things that Dr. Cave is working on with, how to treat patients and how to get them in that right mindset before they go under the big knife, which actually impacts how they recover. You've got to stay tuned this Saturday at 1 o'clock. We're super excited to have him on again. You know what we always say with trendsetting Thursday, you be the trendsetter. Although there was tons of stuff that was trending today, we always want at the end of the day, you to be the trendsetter somehow, some way. You can do it, even if it's your own little, space. You be the trendsetter on something good and share that with us. But we will see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. for a fantabulous Friday. Everyone have a great night. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.